This WeatherScope is sponsored by Cadillac. The great performers are always creating a higher standard.
This is WeatherScope.
Well, here it is, the bottom of the hour. Mike Bono and Bill Keneally looking at some big changes. We had a change in the pattern that brought all that rain to the southeast, especially Florida and the Atlanta metro. Now another change bringing drier air into much of the eastern part of the country.
And if you're a baseball fan, good timing on that too, Mike. It looks like very wet weather tonight into tomorrow for New York, but by Tuesday, the Yanks are hosting the Indians in the big town.
Sounds pretty good.
In the big ballpark.
In the outdoor games.
In the big borough of the Bronx.
That's right.
Looks pretty good, right, Mike? It looks like it's going to stay nice for much of the nation, too, if we can get by the next 24 hours. Let's take a look and see what the ordeal has been. Speaking of getting by, a lot of heavy rainfall the last 2 to 3 days in DeSoto County, Florida. This is down around Arcadia in the Peace River Valley. A lot of high water. Folks there talking about seeing the worst flooding going back to 1992. And this is about an hour southeast of Tampa. Look at all the standing water. And that's going to be part of the problem. You get all that rainfall in Florida. You're not talking about a whole lot of elevation, so it's not like it's going to drain quickly down to the ocean. There's not a whole lot of elevation change, so I think we're going to see some water stagnating for a while. That may cause some problems down the road, but for now, the good news is some drier air whisking in the heels of a westerly wind into the Tampa Bay area. Still the old trough in South Florida, still an upper low back over North Carolina, developing surface low now in eastern North Carolina. And you couple it all together, if you will. We have low pressure moving quickly up the coast, and with that we are going to see a good chunk of rain tonight, I believe. Philadelphia, New York City, eventually into Boston as we get through the overnight period into Monday morning. Mike is tracking the action on the front. He'll have that for us in a minute. We're going to talk about the southeast, and thankfully west wind taking over, heralding in drier air for the Tampa Bay area. Check out these numbers. 14.5 inches of rain in Pinellas Park, Florida. Pinellas Park is right there in central Pinellas County, north of St. Petersburg. Gulfport, around Boca Ciega Bay, 14 inches. This is staggering. Over a foot of rainfall at MacDill Air Force Base. The city of Tampa, officially at the Tampa International Airport, just about a foot of rainfall. And again, lesser amounts in Sarasota and Fort Myers. Still some rain, though. Naples to about Boca Raton, heavy rain in eastern Broward and northeastern Dade County. Let's take you on in here. There's your rain just north of downtown Miami, so Dania and around Fort Lauderdale, right there in A1A, some real heavy rainfall. And another batch of rain. I'm sure you folks in Boca Raton have had a couple of inches of rainfall today. And there's more rainfall back here in Collier County. It's all heading off towards the northeast. It looks like it is starting to die down. And by the way, in the middle and lower Keys, also some very heavy rainfall. Here's a big picture. Let's focus in on the Carolinas now, see what's happening. And you can see the rainfall pretty heavy west of Myrtle Beach. Watch out around Lake City and Conway eventually in South Carolina. That rain heading towards the coast. More rainfall in the Appalachians, Asheville, the Tri-Cities, Charleston, all the way up towards the Middle Atlantic area. Here's a big picture. We have retreating high pressure, an increasing easterly flow, a chilly raw night looming ahead for the Jersey Shore, New York City, and eventually into Boston. I think that rain comes in after the midnight hour. Here's how it looks on the radar. The rain increasing now. Philadelphia, Camden area, southward to about Cape May. Look at all the rain here, though, from just west of Harrisburg, Shippensburg, Johnstown, Pittsburgh. This is real heavy, steady rainfall, too, in Morgantown. We'll have to watch this area. Garrett County, Maryland, may see some flooding on the headwaters of the Potomac River. Into New Jersey, around Philadelphia, the Jersey Shore, down to Atlantic City, getting rainfall. That's all working towards the northwest. And as it does so, it's increasing in coverage. Washington, the bulk of the rainfall north and west of town. Winchester, Frederick, Hagerstown, all getting hit pretty hard. And it's all lifting towards the north-northwest. Mike?
Well, high pressure dominates the western half of the country, but that high pressure is coming in right after a cool front that's bringing in some unsettled conditions. Let's take a look at the map and we'll see where the leading edge of a new air mass is located. And this is significant because this is the air mass that's going to usher in some drier conditions in much of the south. And the northeast, you're just getting a sort of a break from your almost ideal weather that you've been seeing in New York and New England recently. But the leading edge through Chicago now and St. Louis, and all these isobars indicating how windy it is. We've had wind gusts of 55 to 60 miles an hour at the Air Force Base in Minot, Cut Bank, Montana, and recently on into South Dakota, some pretty windy weather. Devil's Lake, North Dakota has wind gusts in the 50s at the latest observation. Some showers into Saginaw and down toward Jackson, Michigan, and on into Fort Wayne, Indiana. You see this precipitation mass is catching up with the one that Bill was talking about to the east already. It's on the move, really on the move. Chicago, no problems left for you, but a few lingering showers in Rhinelander and Eau Claire and back on into, say, the Duluth area, and even International Falls has temperatures falling to the low 50s. Detroit, give it about an hour and a half. Could be a clap of thunder as that rain comes in, but it's mostly a rainy air mass. It was more focused as a sharp and more intense line of storms, now kind of spreading out from Grissom Air Force Base to Fort Wayne, Indianapolis area, Bloomington, Indiana, and stretching down to coming up on Evansville and even Paducah pretty soon, and not far from Memphis, Tennessee. Now, the western high is sprawling indeed, and all these isobars indicating how that wind is picking up and advancing eastward. You have a lot of precipitation. There's a front off the